Buying a bike is just the beginning. If you're thinking about buying a road bike, or you've just bought a road bike, then have a look at our top 10 things that you're going to need to buy to get you on the road. Pedals. It may sound crazy, but you can spend quite a few hundred or even quite a few £1,000s on a road bike and it'll come without pedals. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a really good reason for it. Pedals are a personal choice about what kind of pedals you want, so you can get either clipless or you don't have to clip in. You can have toe clips or you can just have standard pedals. But bike manufacturers basically feel that it should be up to the rider to choose the pedals that they want to go with their bike, rather than putting a factory standard fit pedal on the bike and then you having to change them. It kind of seems like a waste of material and a waste of money really, because that cost of that pedal would be put into the bike anyway. So most bikes come without a pedal these days, or come without pedals these days, and it's up to you as a rider to choose which cleats suits you if you want to go for a clipless pedal, or otherwise what kind of pedal will suit your needs. So unsurprisingly, the next item on this list is shoes, and part of that decision making process is what kind of cleats you're going to need. Shoes. It's really important to get a good pair of shoes to make sure that the power you're transferring from your body into the bike is transferred nicely. The majority of shoes these days come with a really hard sole, so that helps that power transfer to the bike through the pedal. However, the uppers of the shoes can differ in terms of the fabric used, i.e. leather or some synthetic material, and also the types of tightening adjustments that they allow. So whether that's a Velcro attachment or a click dial to tighten the shoe through some sort of lace mechanic. So it's really important that you have a look at different types of shoes, get to try on quite a few pairs, make sure you get the right size, and the other thing to note is that the majority of shoes these days will support different cleat types. So if you're going for a clipless pedal, then you should be able to find a shoe that can either accommodate a 2-bolt system for the smaller profile cleats, or a 3-bolt system for the wider profile cleats. But either way, just make sure that that sole is really nice and sturdy and hard, because that'll be the best kind of shoe to get that power transfer through from your body, through your pedal stroke and into that bike. This next item may not seem that necessary to you, and it is a product that I've reviewed in our product pages, but for me it's an essential part of my cycling apparel. And it's called the RoadID. Now there are various different makes of a RoadID, if you like. RoadID happens to be one brand, and basically what this is a strap that you wear on your wrist that has your name, your contact details for in case of an emergency. I think this is vital actually in this day and age, if you're cycling out on your own and if you get knocked out or knocked off your bike and the emergency services need to get hold of family or friends, then they need to know who to contact, and it may be that you're not in a position to talk. So wearing a RoadID is a really sensible investment. They only cost about £20 and they're really durable and lightweight, and you will not really realise that you're wearing it most of the time. So definitely have a look for a RoadID or a similar make of identity bracelet, and make sure that you get one and you wear it when you go out. It could be that it saves your life. Helmet. Helmets, in my view, are absolutely essential. I know there's a big debate about whether or not cyclists should have to wear a helmet or not, but in my view, I'm human, I can make a mistake. If that mistake causes me to come off my bike and hit my head, I'd rather it was protected. I just don't see any rational logic to suggest otherwise. Now, it may be that you agree with some of the professionals out there who suggest that actually you shouldn't need to wear a helmet and that road users should be more careful and all that. And I understand that argument, but in my view, if you want to make sure that you're as safe as possible when you're riding, get yourself a helmet. Helmets come in different shapes and sizes, and really this is a personal choice. You need to go out there and see what works for you. But generally speaking, they come with either lots of vents and to keep your head cool and when you're riding, or others come with in a much more streamlined aerodynamic form. So it depends on whether you're going to be casual road cycling or whether you're out for your TTs and you're worrying about your times. To be honest, I think you can find a pretty good everyday helmet for road cycling for around 50, 60, 70 pounds. I personally wear a Uvex FP1 helmet, which I love, and is very comfortable. But generally you'll find different weights as well, so you'll have to again try on the helmets and to work out what works for you. Another quite crucial thing, by the way, is the ability to adjust the helmet so that it fits on your head and sits comfortably. My helmet has a single adjustable circular thing at the back, and that fits the helmet onto my head in a uniform manner, which I find great. Other helmets, however, you have to sort of tweak on both sides or what have you. So find a helmet that suits you, does what it wants in terms of ventilation or aerodynamics or whatever your requirements are, and make sure it's comfortable, and definitely, in my view, get a helmet. I think you really shouldn't leave home without it. So you've got your pedals, you've got your shoes, you've got your RoadID just in case, and you've got your helmet. Now you go out on the road and you're flashing through the wind you know, a nice pace, and what you'll realise is if you haven't got a pair of glasses, very soon your eyes will become either very watery or very sore. I think glasses are an essential part of cycling apparel, and again, there is a massive range to choose from. I personally don't wear expensive cycling glasses. I found quite a few very cheap pairs, cost me about a tenner, and I have 3 different types of lenses. I have a clear lens for days where it's not too bright or it's not too dark, and I just want protection from grit and the elements. I also then have a yellow lens set of glasses, which are actually really good on low visibility or low light days, because it really brightens up the your view and makes things stand out and keeps you alert. And then of course you've got your standard sunglasses, and really I think you just need to make sure that if you are going out cycling on very sunny days, you need to have polarized lenses to protect your eyes. Now, I have 3 sets of glasses that do each individual type. It is also possible to get some glasses that have interchangeable lenses, and they're quite a good option as well, so you can actually change the lenses depending on what type of day it is. From a cost perspective, you can spend anything from a tenner up to well, I don't know, 200 quid, something like that. Now obviously what you are going to be trading off in the at the low end is things like polarized lenses and how good these glasses are for your eyes, but ultimately they are there to protect your eyes from the elements, from grit being thrown up and various other bits and pieces. So I would definitely get a pair of glasses, at least 1 pair, and wear them. Now this next item may not in your eyes be deemed essential, but I think that it's really handy, and that's a saddlebag. For me, I always go out and I carry a couple of spare inner tubes and a multi-tool. You never know what's going to happen out there, and it's really useful to have at least a couple of inner tubes so that you can change your wheel quickly and get back on the road again, and obviously a multi-tool to fix those small maintenance issues when you're out on the road. Now, obviously, a saddlebag isn't essential insofar as you could put the inner tubes and put them into the back of your jacket. But to be honest, I always find it quite intriguing that I'm always going to go out with a couple of inner tubes and a multi-tool. So I'd rather just put them in the saddlebag and then just forget about them. They sit there, and then if I ever do need them, they're just there. If I was to put inner tubes and a multi-tool into the back of my jacket every time I went out, the chances are I might forget one day, and you know what, it's typical, that'd be the day where I get a multiple puncture or something like that. So saddlebags come in different shapes and slightly different shapes and sizes. I use a toe peak saddlebag, and again, as I said, they come in different sizes. So generally speaking, the smallest ones will probably hold a couple of inner tubes and a multi-tool, and then you can get slightly bigger ones where you can even fit things like gas canisters for your air pump, or credit cards, or whatever it is if you want to take some money with you, etc. But so although it's not an essential item, I really like the saddlebag. I think it sits neatly where it is, hidden out of the way, doesn't impact your drag in any way, shape or form, and is a pretty useful piece of kit. So I'd highly recommend getting one. Next item is the pump. Obviously, if you're out and about on the road and you get a puncture or your tyre gets flat, you're going to need to pump it up again. Now, I've been on a number of sportives and I find it incredulous how many people venture out on long rides and don't take a pump with them. I don't know whether they're expecting the rest of the cycling community to just be there at their beck and call when they need it, but believe me, if you don't take a pump, you're going to need it on a ride one day and it's going to cause you a real problem. Pumps come in different shapes and sizes as well. Personally, I've got a pocket rocket because it's nice and small and compact, and actually I've got mine fitted to my frame. I know a lot of people don't like that and would rather put the pump again in the back of their jacket pocket, but personally I think a pump is one of those things I'm going to take out every time I go riding, so it might as well just be attached to the bike. The other option in terms of pumps is these CO2 gas kind of refills, where you get basically a full tyre pump from one canister. It's there's a couple of benefits. One, it's very fast, so if you are worried about your times and stuff, or you're on some sort of timing mission to get a record and you get a puncture, you can swap your tyre out very quickly, get it pumped up in seconds, and away you go. The other benefit of those is that you can get a much higher pressure in the tyre than if you're using a hand pump. I think with a hand pump, generally speaking, you probably max out about 70 psi, if you know, probably around that area. So your tyre, although it's nicely inflated, it could be a bit soft for your liking. Whereas a CO2 canister will generally get it up to about 90 to 100 psi. And get you that rigidity back in the tyre that you're looking for. I don't think either is a massive problem, and it's purely down to a question of taste. I did have a gas canister and I actually had a lot of problems with them. I didn't find they were that easy to use, and so I've reverted back to a standard manual pump as well. The only other thing to mention about a pump is just to make sure that it has an adapter that fits your tyre type. So you've got Schraver valves or you've got Presta valves. So you just need to make sure. Now most pumps actually have a dual option, so you can blow up both types, but just make sure, because it would be a real pain to get out there and realise that you haven't got a pump that fits your valve on your inner tube. I've mentioned this previously, and perhaps it was a given, but it definitely is one of the essential things you need to buy when you've bought a bike, and that's some inner tubes. Now, the reason for this is quite simple in my mind. You're out and about on the road, you get a flat tyre. The last thing you really want to do is sitting there patching a tyre unless you really have to. I much prefer having a couple of inner tubes with me. I can swap out a tyre very, very quickly, and I can do the repair of the inner tube when I get back home, rather than having to worry about doing it when I'm out and about. Now, obviously, in extreme circumstances, it's fine to to do that. But believe me, I've had to try and patch a tyre when it's been absolutely pouring down with rain, and it's really not the easiest thing to do. So if you want to give yourself an easy life, just get yourself a couple of inner tubes, put them in that saddlebag that you've already got, and just remember they're there in case you need them. Otherwise, I think you're just going to make life harder for yourself. So a couple of inner tubes, definitely recommended as part of that shopping list. Now, the next item is actually only probably required if you're going to be doing bike rides that are longer than an hour or so. Generally speaking, the scientists say that if you're going to ride up to about an hour, you don't really need to take any extra liquid with you. Your body should have sufficient resources to be able to see through that hour or so of riding. Anything longer than an hour, you want to be taking a water bottle with you. So obviously this item is the water bottle. You can get frame cages that sit on the frame and house your bottle nicely. Now, again, there's a big debate about 1 or 2 bottles. I carry 2 cages on my bike, but I only probably carry 1 bottle most of the time. I do have 2 cages for when I do very long rides, as I like to keep going. I'm not a great fan of stopping. I think when I stop it on ride, I tend to want to just go again. But having said that, it can get you in a bit of trouble. So when I did Prudential Ride London 100, for example, I didn't stop at all. And I had exhausted my second bottle with about 12 miles left. In my mind I said, okay, well look, it's only a 12-mile ride, that's a light training ride, but actually if you've already ridden 88 miles and you've got to do another 12 miles on empty, then it can be pretty painful. So I think the message here is definitely get a bottle and a cage, get those to your bike and take them out for rides that are longer than an hour. For very long rides, day-long rides and stuff, make sure you either stop and refill your bottle, or consider taking 2 bottles if you don't like stopping that often. And you should really be probably intaking about a bottle of water every hour beyond that first hour. Then in terms of what you put in the bottle, I mean, water itself is fine. It may be that you decide you want to go for some electrolyte type drink as well, to refill your body's natural or help refuel your body's natural minerals as well. So an electrolyte type drink can actually be quite helpful. I've actually ridden on water and electrolyte drinks, and I don't know whether it's some sort of cause and effect situation going on, but I do find that I perform better with an electrolyte drink, especially on longer rides. So I'd recommend having a look at either High Five or Sis or someone like that, and get yourself some electrolyte drink as well. The electrolyte drinks actually don't taste too bad at all. It's the recovery drinks that are generally quite horrible, but definitely have a look at those as well. And then of course the final rule on the bottle is just make sure that it matches the colour scheme of your bike. That's really important. The final thing on the list is a multi-tool. I think this is again really essential. If you're going to go out on the road and you're going out for long bike rides, you need to take a tool that will allow you to do some basic maintenance on the road. It would just be really frustrating if you had a minor adjustment requirement that you couldn't do because you didn't have a multi-tool, and then you'd end up having to phone somebody up to try and give you a lift home. It's just really frustrating. Multi-tools are really useful. They're very compact. They can sit in your saddlebag, and again, you can get them when you need them. Generally speaking, they come with a range of tools that will help you make most of these sort of minor adjustments you need while you're on the road, and also a couple of tyre levers sometimes as well. So they'll help you get your tyre off in a puncture, and also do some other basic maintenance. So I think that would generally be a very good purchase, and is highly recommended. Now, obviously, if you're going to buy a multi-tool as well, you probably need to gel up on a bit of bike maintenance as well. There's no point in having a tool if you haven't got a clue what you're going to do with it. So have a look at some of those basic maintenance requirements for the bike, and then when you're out on the road, should you need to, you'll be able to find that you can fend for yourself rather than having to make that dreaded call home for someone to come and pick you up. So there we have it. That's the my top 10 list of things that you're going to need to buy if you're thinking about buying a road bike, or you have just bought a road bike. I'd be interested in your comments and thoughts. If you think we've missed something out, then please do let me know. And if you find this helpful as well, then please do subscribe. Have a look at our other videos. A lot of the things that we've mentioned here we'll be reviewing different product versions of in the coming weeks and months. So do keep an eye out on the channel, and as I say, please do make your comments heard. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks a lot.